Welcome, citizens. This is the first video in a series I'm calling Storm's Take, where I look at a video created by another content creator and present my own version or take on what they did. Rather than a reaction video where I sit there and talk about another video, I use my own footage showing how I went about doing similar activities, but with my own ideas on how to improve, or modify the original objectives. Now let me be clear. I'm not trying to bash the original video. I'm simply presenting my own method of achieving the same objectives. In fact, I encourage you to watch the original video, which you will find a link in the description below. In this first video, I will be looking at a video by Guia Fossil, sorry if I butchered that name, titled Farming Ace Pilot. These helmets are not sold in the pledge stores on the website, nor in any of the shops in game, nor can they be found in loot boxes. The only way to obtain these is by killing an ace pilot that randomly appears in some of the new patrol missions and looting the helmet after soft deathing the ace pilot. These helmets are required by Wikelo to trade along with other items for items that only can be obtained through him. So here's my take on how to achieve this goal. Now, I'm going to assume you've already watched the original video, which suggests that you use a bike with ballistic weapons. But I suggest that you stick to laser repeaters. It may take a little longer to soft death the target, but you have unlimited rounds, and you can potentially farm more helmets without worrying about running out of ammo. Keep in mind that bikes have a limited amount of hydrogen fuel, but you still should be able to get more helmets before being forced to restock. Now I put NDB 26s on my Dragonfly. These are size 1 guns, which I believe can only be found in the pyro contested zones. But the C117 Bulldog laser repeaters work just as fine, and those can be purchased in the shops in-game. And you can also use laser cannons as well. It doesn't really matter. Another thing I strongly recommend is that you wear armor and at the very least a light backpack. The original creator admitted that he made a mistake and forgot to equip a backpack. I think you can fit at least 3 helmets in a light backpack. The reason I suggest a light backpack is because if you follow my max of 3 helmets, then you don't need a medium or heavy backpack. I don't recommend farming any more than 3 before you return to a planet or space station and storing them into a local inventory. Otherwise, you run the risk of getting killed and possibly losing those precious helmets. Now, the original video suggests you take the Headhunters chain and level up your rep with them, but I chose to take the Foxwell enforcement missions, and I honestly don't think there is any difference. Since these ace pilots don't show up until you reach at least the missions worth 74k, you might as well use whichever faction you already have some rep with rather than wasting time starting from scratch. As the original video suggests, you should level up to the 200k missions and only select these missions. Despite doing this, there is still no guarantee the ace pilot will spawn in the mission, but it does increase your chances. Furthermore, there are various other factors involved. Each patrol point in these missions have various events that spawn randomly. The original video shows you the most ideal conditions where the ace pilot appears along with other NPC hostiles, and your only objective is to eliminate all targets. This is the easiest scenario because there is no time limit and none of the other NPCs will attack you since you are on a bike. However, another starting scenario will require you to scan multiple patrol points looking for enemy ships or satellites. I've done dozens of these, and my take is that you don't bother with them at all. You can't use your mothership, you know, the one you've been using to carry around your bike, and the bikes are too slow and take too long to check each point. It's very possible, but not very efficient. The best thing to do is simply abandon the mission and pick up a new one from the mobiGlass. Another scenario is a rescue mission. As soon as you hit the mission trigger point, which is exactly 20 kilometers from the patrol nav point, you will be ordered to protect a disabled ship. Sometimes the ace pilot will also appear. Now you have to be fast in this situation. You still have to leave your mothership approximately 20 kilometers away and travel over to the mission on your bike. But since this is a higher difficulty mission, the NPCs are more numerous and more aggressive. You have no hope of defending the disabled ship, so they are going to destroy it rather quickly. The moment the event is triggered, you have to fly over and soft death the ace as quickly as possible. If the NPCs destroy the disabled ship first, then the ace pilot will vanish. Although it's risky, the ace pilot can be so rare to appear that it's definitely worth the attempt. Speaking of that, regardless of what you may have heard in other videos, this can be a very time-consuming process. If you are online during peak gaming hours and a lot of other people are doing this, it can be very difficult to even find the mission. On top of that, as I said earlier, there is no guarantee that the ace is going to spawn at all. If the servers are slammed, not even server hopping is going to make much of a difference. Now let's talk about this ace pilot. It's actually a joke because this is one of the easiest targets to destroy, and this has been done on purpose to make it more difficult to gather. If you full death the ace, he will instantly vanish, and since his hornet seems to be made out of paper, it doesn't take much to full death this ship. To ensure that you soft death him, make sure to fire in short bursts after you take down his shields. A long sustained burst of fire can easily result in full death, and this applies to any ship in any circumstance outside of this mission. So once you have soft deathed the target, the ace will fall out of his ship and you should have a marker to his body. Get very close with your bike and EVA over to the body. He is always carrying 3 units of script, either MG or council. It doesn't matter which, you should grab them in either case. Then I click the arrow in the top right corner and switch to the old menu and drag the helmet into my backpack. Get back on your bike, abandon the mission. Then return to your mothership, rinse and repeat. Now here are some more suggestions I have for maximizing your time doing this. Number 1. Take an extra bike. Even if you have unlimited ammo, your bike could literally run out of fuel before you acquire a single helmet. If you only own a single bike, there's a neat trick you can do to get another one. Call your bike and move it off to the side in your hangar. Then claim it. The first bike will persist, and you can park both bikes inside your mothership. You might be able to spawn even more bikes, but I don't recommend using more than 2 bikes total. Number 2, do this farming during off-peak hours. The less players online, the more chances you will have to get this 200k mission. If you play late at night or during the middle of the day when everyone else is at work, you will probably be more successful. Number 3, if the ace doesn't appear immediately at the first spawn point, the best thing to do is to abandon the mission and pick up a new one. At the time of this recording, reputation is not affected by abandoning the mission, so you can do it as often as you like. Number 4, avoid the patrol point objectives. You could get off of your bike and fly over to each one of these points, but it just takes way too long. In the time that it takes you to check at least 3 of these points, you could have abandoned the mission and picked up 3 more. And each time you pick up a new mission, you have a better chance of just spawning the ace pilot right away. So don't really waste time with that. The last thing I want to mention is that there are other farming videos out there, but I don't agree with them. They talk about using a 74k mission and a fighter ship. The problem is the ace is too rare in these missions. I've heard that he shows up in 1 of 3 attempts, but from my experience, I've taken over 20 of these missions in a row with no ace pilot in sight. In fact, if you enjoy combat and do have some friends to play with, you can level up to the next mission, which is 350k, which I think is the highest tier. The ace pilot will show up even more frequently in these missions, and all the same rules apply. So that's it. I hope you got something out of this. If so, please like and subscribe. And let me know your take. If you have any suggestions on how to do this better, or if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.